This is the Seven Figure Standard Podcast, hosted by Arash Vasugi and Mikey Stiller, with mindset and strategies to help you break through and create personal freedom.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Seven Figure Standard Podcast. I'm Mikey Stiller, joined by my co-host, Arash Vasugi, and we're so happy to be back with you for another episode, an episode I know you're going to love because we're talking about a topic that I think everybody wants to master, and that's how you can speed up your results. First, Arash, how are you doing?
I'm great, Mikey. How are you?
I am doing great. You know, over the last 20 years, how many times have you been asked, how can I get there faster? How can I speed up my results?
I still get it on a daily basis. On a daily basis, I get it. And I understand the question. I struggled with it when I was first implementing this philosophy properly. I would get really good results. Then I'd be really down when the results were not good. And I was this yo-yo up and down, or this roller coaster. And what we're going to discuss today, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's one of the hardest things to conquer. But when you conquer it, your life is going to work like magic. Like, it becomes so magical when you really conquer. When I say conquer, I mean, this is your dominant thought pattern. This is your dominant and how you take your actions. Mm-hmm. There's two ways to speed up your results, and they have to work together. It's how explosive is your thinking? Are you thinking from being hyper intentional and hyper focused? And you can't be attached to the outcome. We are not in control of the outcome. We are not in control of the outside world, yet we all think we control the universe. And we force, we go harder. And that's why so many people are working harder, not smarter. Mm-hmm. And I want everybody listening to this to create effortless success. And that's why the result has to be surrendered. It is already done. Yet most people are letting the results dictate their attitude, letting the results dictate their identity. So somebody could be like, oh my God, I'm so confident, yet the next month they feel the exact opposite. I'm so down. And I was working with a client the other day, and I said, your energy has shifted. They're like, I'm really down. I said, why? And they said, well, my results weren't good. I said, well, why are you down about that? You know, this thing called life is a journey, and we have to commit to the journey and follow the rules. But the basic rule that I will promise you this, unless you work it, you're not going to trust me on it. And I don't encourage you to trust me. I encourage you to experience it for yourself. Is the only thing you could control is how you think, what you do, how much you improve your beliefs and skill sets, how you serve, and then the results will take care of themselves. Like, if I'm talking to somebody who's driving right now, they're listening to this, I want you to evaluate this. Just for yesterday, were you in control, or were the results in control? And that's why surrendering is another word for detaching from the outcome is so essential. Think about a time, we've all surrendered before. Think about a time where you just let go. You completely let go, and you were being driven by your alternate identity. You were being driven by your instinct. And all of a sudden, you get a call. You'll get a text message. I remember I was walking out of the gym, and one of my one-on-one clients called me. He goes, Arash, I've been working on this deal for 9 months, and I can't get it to the finish line. And I said, Chris, let me tell you exactly what to do. I said, I want you not to think about the deal anymore. I don't even want you to think about it. And I said, I want you to focus on what you could do for today. I get a call, like, no kidding on this. 2 hours later, he goes, they faxed in the deal. And I said, I didn't even know people fax in deals anymore. And he said, in our industry, they do. And he said, what did you do? I said, I didn't do anything. You did it. You finally let go. We are stopping the results by looking for them. Am I going the right way? Am I doing this? And this is where our job is to come from our future self. See, I will guarantee you that the majority of the people listening to our podcast, Mike, have no idea who their future self is. I guarantee it.
Mm-hmm.
See, you have to make a connection to your future self. What is your future self not just experiencing, but what were the characteristics that fused you with your future self? I always tell people, like, I'm big on journaling. And I always tell people, I mean, I'm doing it myself right now. Mikey, you're doing it. I asked you to do it with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I want you to journal and write a letter to your future self every day for 30 days. Well, that way, if I can get everybody to focus on being their future self, they're not going to worry about the outcome. And that's what's going to speed up the results. See, if you look at nature, nature's never attached to anything. And nature shows us how effortless the creation process is. Like, people will say to me, oh, I want to manifest this, which I'm not crazy about that word in the first place. However, let's just play with it. You're doing it already. Look at your current results. Who do you think created that? Everything comes from us, then to us. And so the more you let go, because you can't control the outcome. You cannot control it. I had a client, a really good client of us. He's doing such phenomenal work. And he runs festivals. And he said, Rush, I'm really upset. I had 30% less show rate because there was a huge storm. I said, you can't control Mother Nature. I said, did you do your best? That's all you could do. I said, I guarantee you, if you let this go, your next festival, you're going to have 30% more. That's just how it works once we let go. Somebody who loses a sale, let's say somebody refunds or they have a sale that they thought they were going to get and not get, and they fume about it, right? The best thing you could do is let it go and talk to yourself and say, I'm one step closer to a bigger and better sale. See, once we let go, we bring in 10 times more once we authentically let go, where we're not, why did this happen? Like letting it control us. And that's why we could speed up this process so quickly by becoming a master of letting go. What if I told you, Mike, that everybody can absolutely, with 100% certainty, transform their life, create massive quantum leap in the next 30 days just by becoming a master of letting go for 30 days? We have to become a master of that.
Mm-hmm. Raj, I'm glad you brought up future self, and I wrote down a note for us to record our next episode entirely on that because it's such a powerful concept. One of the biggest questions that we get from our clients whenever we talk about this idea of letting go or getting neutral or surrendering, whatever word you want to use, is, well, if I'm emotionally involved and I have all this desire, isn't that contradictory towards letting go or surrendering? And what's your answer to that?
Well, if you're emotionally involved, you're not worried whether it's going to happen or not. It's already happened. And that's what they don't understand. They're attached to it. So you wouldn't ask the question. Like, I'm not asking the question for my results. I already know it's done. Mm-hmm. And all this is a mind game. And until you master the mind game, you're going to be working against yourself. So when you're truly emotionally involved, you wouldn't ask that question. Now, let's talk about this because I'm asking everybody to let go of their current beliefs around this. And we talked a little bit about this last week on our last podcast. I said, the best in the world are great at quitting. What if I asked you all to quit being attached to the outcome? See, this has changed my life. I did a video that we put on social media a few days ago, or maybe a week ago. I said, The most empty I ever was in my life was when I was chasing money. I was so empty. And when I realized that was a terrible idea, that's when I changed it. I knew that wasn't working. And I knew that was very hollow. It was very empty. When you're doing something and you're like, okay, this can't be the way, right? Well, I went on the other side, but I had to let go of that part of my programming. I had to let go of that belief. And that's why the more we reevaluate our beliefs, the quicker we're going to change the result. Like every single person, I've said this on many occasions, I believe, and for 17 years I've been doing this, if anybody came and looked at my goal, I have it right in front of me on a goal card. It's every 90 days. And I'm ridiculously illogical. I know some of my goals, most likely, all things are possible, but most likely they're not going to happen in 90 days. But that doesn't mean I can't transform every 90 days and create quantum leaps because I set big goals. But nothing happened magically in my life until I mastered detaching from the outcome. Now, there's times you don't need to be perfect at this, but your intent needs to be perfect. There's times that I realize that I'm attached and I say, okay, let go. You know not to do that. Let go. And I'll just give myself a trigger because I'll know that I'm attached. And how I know I'm attached? Because my mind is going in the wrong direction. If you're frustrated, you're attached to something. It could be a belief. It could be an outcome, but you're attached to something. And Mike, what if I told you scarcity isn't all bad?
Ooh. Okay. Keep talking.
Think about this. What got me to change something that wasn't working when I told you I was empty was I was coming from scarcity, right? But if you're aware that you're coming from scarcity and you're willing to change it, scarcity could turn into a motivator.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not intending for anybody to be scarce. But if there's a good, there's a bad in everything. So there's a little good in it if you decide to change. And here's the deal. If you don't decide to change something, then don't complain about it.
Amen.
There's no point. You're not wanting to change a big deal.
I love the lens, how you're switching the lens to make something positive. You glazed over fusing with your goal. And I want you to go deeper on that because it goes hand in hand with exactly what we're talking about today. When you're fused with your goal, you're not grinding towards it. You're not pushing towards it. You're not chasing after it. It's there. It's here right now. And so will you really talk about that and how it goes hand in hand with achieving your goal faster?
Well, the goal is the driving force to everything. It's the driving force to creating your future self. The goal is your best accountability partner. And if you look at your goal demands a certain standard. And what you're saying yes to right now will tell you your standard. If you don't have good boundaries, you keep saying yes, 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 even though you want to say no, 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 but you're not disciplining yourself, understand that's your standard. So when we're fused with a goal, we live and only see what we're experiencing with that goal. Like right now, if you're not seeing your goal as your dominant idea, that you've turned it into a love story, then you're not fused with it. And if you're not fused with it, you're separate from it. So if you're separate from it, you're not going to achieve it. So we got to understand that. And all you have to do is look at your language, look at your action steps. It will tell you that.
So I imagine there's a lot of people listening to this right now, having maybe a light bulb moment or a realization, like I am definitely not fused with my goal. What would they do in that case to quickly fuse with their goal?
Yeah. Well, first thing they got to do is spend a lot of time in mental rehearsal. They've got to spend a lot of time getting relaxed, relax themselves, and build the image of what they'd be experiencing with their goal. Now, a lot of people don't understand that imagination is not just one of your higher faculties. It's not just one of your superpowers. It's a skill set. And we have to build that skill set. Just like if we're going to the gym for the first time, we're sore, we're not as strong. And then we keep going, we get stronger and stronger. But I find too many people glaze over intentionally visualizing and fusing with their goal. When you fuse with your goal through repetition and you're very intentional, because that's what you want to go in before you get into your mental rehearsal. You want to get your body relaxed and set the strong intention because it goes deep inside of you. You're going to get fused more and more. What else gets fused with your goal? The power of 5. What else gets fused with your goal? Autosuggestion. Those 3 things are going to be your greatest assets to fuse with your goal. But the goal, if we're not fused from it, we're separate from it. And all you have to do is listen to your self-talk, watch your actions just this week. I think Robin Sharma nailed it on the head. He said, your day is your year in miniature. And I think he nailed that. Because I always say, what did you do yesterday? Were you busy or were you productive? And so, I want you, if you're fused with your goal, you're letting your future make every decision for you. And that's how you know you're fused with your goal. But when you're detached from the outcome, you're in this flow state. That's the beauty of it. You're so emotionally free. Viktor Frankl has a great quote. He said, between stimulus and response is where freedom lies. And I love that because you have stimulus, something happening, and then you have a second to decide what you're going to choose. You're either going to choose your future self, you're going to choose the goal, or you're going to choose playing small and going to your weaker self. But think about that. Between the two is where freedom lies. That's space.
God, this is so good. I want to make sure everybody has the proper expectation. So whenever you first start doing this, is this something that you have to master several times a day or re-implement several times a day or every single day? And then does it get easier? Like for you now, is it more of an auto natural? But in the beginning, it was something you really had to continuously hammer in.
Yeah, every new goal, I have to do the same process because I don't have the confidence yet to do it, or else I would have already done it. A lot of people know you have the confidence. No, I don't. The results tell me I don't. It doesn't mean I'm not capable of building the confidence, but the process is the same. But as you gain more awareness, your confidence coming into a goal is through the roof. Like now, I never think I can't achieve anything. So it's different because I understand the creation process. But I still mental rehearse minimum twice a day. I get myself in a relaxed state. And sometimes I don't want to do it. There's a lot of times I don't want to do it, but I know what the reward is going to be. What is the reward going to be? You see it all the time. Like I was listening to this top movie producer. He spends an hour in mental rehearsal every morning. That's his morning routine, an hour. And he said, I've been doing it for 30 years. And his movie production company is a little over 200 million. I would follow that advice. I don't think you need to spend an hour. That's his process. That's what he connects to. But you have to spend time getting in a relaxed state. The biggest mistake people make is they go and they don't have an experience in their mental rehearsal. They just go. And they're so forcing. So they're using their manual mind. If you're not relaxed, you're not getting it to your subjective mind. And you'll know when it takes form because all you're going to come from is seeing what you want. You're never going to let the outside control you. That's how you're going to know.
So good. All right, Raj, let's get into an action step for today.
Well, I would like you just for 7 days to make a decision that you're going to be aware of the triggers of when you're letting the outside control you. But I want you to make a part of your identity that I'm a master at letting go. And if you do it I only want you to do it for 7 days because you could do anything for 7 days. Then you're going to already see how different things are going to go in 7 days. You're going to see results from this. Then do it for another 7. Just give yourself these 7-day tests. And this is incredibly important because people keep digging up what they want and put obstacles in their way because they're letting the outside control them so dramatically. They're obsessed. Instead of being obsessed with how they want to live, they're obsessed with the outside.
So true. Raj, thank you so much. And thanks to all of you for tuning in this week. If you loved today's episode, please leave us a rating and review. And most importantly, share this with your friends and family. And we will see you next week with another episode on the 7-Figure Standard podcast.
Thank you for listening to this episode of 7-Figure Standard. We hope you found the insights and strategies helpful on your journey to success. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a rating and review on your favorite podcast platform to help us reach more people like you. To learn more about Arash and Mikey and how Voss Coach & Co. can help you achieve your goals and reach new levels of success, visit vosscoachandco.com. Thank you again for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode of 7-Figure Standard.